come on now. Let's make some music together. I invite you to rise and let's sing a little Now Let Us Sing. It's in the great hymnal, hymn number 368. And as you might remember, we haven't sung it for a while, but there's the bottom part that goes, now let us sing, 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 now let us sing, 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 lift up your voice, be not afraid, now let us sing to the power of the faith within. And I can only sing one part at a time, but I'm pretty good at doing a little bit of each one, so I'll try to keep us going, and we go in the order of faith, hope, love, and joy, and if you forget, just do whatever comes to your mind. Here we go. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, oh, sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, oh, let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, oh, sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Good morning. Have a seat.
Greetings all on this beautiful gift of an autumn day. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our congregation envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. You are welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways that you are still becoming the person you will be. My name is Curtis Tanner. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. I'm a tallish, middle-aged white man with gray hair, gray glasses, and a gray beard. I'm wearing black today with a blue tie. Leading worship with me today is our guest preacher, the Reverend Mary Katherine Morn, Troy Fisher, our music director, Reverend Sarah Lewis, the director of Community Faith Development, and a warm and special welcome to our guest musician, Karen Gorgu. After 30 years in faith-based leadership, the Reverend Mary Katherine Morn joined the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee as president and lead executive officer in 2018. For those of you unfamiliar with the work of the UUSC, their mission is to advance human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. Reverend Mary Katherine has helped grow a number of progressive congregations, serving their members in the larger community. She has also worked with the NAACP and community partners to advance efforts for economic, racial, and social justice in places like Macon, Georgia. She has been deeply engaged in the reproductive justice movement. In Fairfax, Virginia, Reverend Mary Katherine worked with interfaith ministries addressing hunger and homelessness, collaborated with LGBTQI+ advocacy organizations, and served on the county's homelessness task force. Wow. Reverend Mary Katherine has also served in volunteer leadership with the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association, and for 4 years as Director of Stewardship and Development for the Unitarian Universalist Association. Welcome. Here are a few things that you should know about this and most services. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those of you here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes useful, sometimes curious subtitles on the screen in front of you and on Zoom if you're online. Over here, we have fluffy chairs and activities for your hands so everyone can be comfortable. We are a multi-generational community, and we value our young ones. Kids, babies, teens, all are welcome in this sanctuary. There is also a nursery care and storytime program for children in the classroom wing. We are grateful for the many hands that make worship happen this morning. Thank you for all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary Katherine. For those of you online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat, and thank you for joining us today. For those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons, and then at 11:30, please return to the main room or the sanctuary for a forum on the work of the Unitarian Universalist Service Commission with our guest, Reverend Mary Katherine Morn. In other news, the Sabbatical Committee reminds us that we are collecting farewell cards for Reverend Monica. Her last Sunday with us as sabbatical minister is next week, Sunday, October 27th. Please drop a note of appreciation or reflection in the basket in the Commons. For those of you online, you can email a message and these will be included. Meanwhile, the SABCOM remains available for questions, concerns, or needs related to the sabbatical through Reverend Mary's return in early November. And this is the week for our Books, Brownies, and Beans sale. While book donations are closed, thank you, save them for next year, we still need more volunteers. Thursday, some of us will be setting up tables and books all through the building. Friday and Saturday are the days of the sale for which help is still needed. And at Saturday at 4 p.m., a crew of volunteers will magically transform a bookstore into a church. Volunteers get to shop and have first pick of the books on Thursday evening, and there will be a community dinner that night. Please see the BBB table in the Commons or look on the website for a link to sign up or a link to the Sign Up Genius to volunteer for the sale. There are many things happening here at the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, let us open our hearts and our minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. If you are online and have a chalice or candle, please join me as we light our chalices together with the words of the Reverend Michael Tino. The flaming chalice was first used by the Unitarian Service Committee as a symbol of life-saving refuge for people fleeing persecution in Europe. As we light this chalice, we invoke the love that called people to put their lives at risk to save others. May we be vessels of life-saving welcome. And we light this candle in honor of the Reverend Mary Geer, our settled minister, on this, her 18th week of sabbatical. We light our candle here each week to help us sustain our bond with her and stay present to the spirit of renewal. We know her matching candle will light her way home to us on November 1st.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a middle-aged white woman with brown curly hair, wearing a pink knit top and red reading glasses. We light a memorial candle today for for Riley McLaughlin, who died on Tuesday, October 8th. Riley was a vital and engaged part of OUUC for decades, having been a youth group advisor, a coming-of-age mentor, the communications and website team member, served on the board, led the old AV team, helped set up the text system throughout the building, organized music for the book sale bistro, and much more. He has been a musical collaborator and member of many musical groups that included other OUC members and friends. We send our love and care to Riley's sister, OUUC member Alice Curtis, and to all his family in this sad time. Alice shared these words. Riley was a Renaissance man who appreciated the unique and wondrous gifts of every individual he encountered. He was gracious, gentle, and kind, and had a way of showing up for friends and for those who needed a friend. He leaves a legacy of wonder, creativity, and music to fill our souls. With this candle, we share our grief at his death and lift up our gratitude for Riley and all he brought to OUUC.
Short, 63-year-old, gray-haired woman. I use she, her pronouns. I have gray shoulder-length hair, and I am celebrating your beautiful autumn here in the Pacific Northwest with a wrap that captures the colors of the season. And I'm just really deeply grateful for this opportunity to be with you this morning. My colleague from Arlington, Virginia, the Reverend Laura Martin, offers these words for our opening. I invite you to breathe with me as we open our hearts for this time of worship together. Because so much of the world will devastate you, find something to bless. A tree, a child, a woman who is acquainted with sadness. Because every day you will see brokenness. Find something to heal, a spot of land, yourself, an animal. Believe in what you can do up close. So much of the world is not just, or good, or pulling toward the light. Be deliberate in your part. Accept your own incompleteness and go and make healing and blessing and light real as only you can.
I invite you to join together in singing. Invite you to rise in body and or spirit. We're going to sing hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me. For those of you online, the lyrics will be posted in the chat. And here in the sanctuary, the lyrics will be posted up there. But I'm going to tell you a secret about that screen. It'll give you no love. But if you look around and sing with the people next to you, this is an easy hymn to sing. They will give you love. They will give you love right back, okay? So don't get too attached to that string.
Come
Yes, I'm from the South. Do y'all use y'all? Beautiful. I am wanting to share wow, you are so full. Thank you for coming. How lovely to see a full room. I want to share a little story about leadership. One of the reasons it's actually helpful for me to kind of ground myself, because my leadership journey did not start where I was standing kind of up front. And there's some ways in which I would rather be sitting where Troy's sitting. My first church job was church piano player. I wasn't terribly good. I was fine. I mean, I could carry a hymn, and accompanying mattered to me. And so I learned a lot about leadership, actually, from a piano bench. And I want to talk about that this morning because as I share with you stories and the mission and work of our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, I hope this will help ground our philosophy of leadership and justice-making in the world. So it is not the first thing many people think of when they think of leadership, right? You might think of whoever is standing kind of in the middle of the stage, whether it's a singer or a preacher. But there are lots of ways accompanists offer leadership. Is that right, Troy?
There is a lot of ways that we do.
So they believe us. So what kind of things would you say?
Give a solid sense of the harmonic structure and the harmonic
The
rhythm,
whole, yep.
so that whoever's performing, whether it's a congregation, a singer, an instrumentalist, they know where to hang the melody.
Yeah, so it really carries movement, can move things forward, holds kind of some principles, right? It's not that in every musical piece the principles will be the same, but within a piece there is a consistency and an alignment, right, of the values that are agreed upon in that work. That is such a great way to think about the work of justice, I think. And at UUSC, our model, our theory of change, is based on our belief that justice really comes about when we partner with people who themselves are impacted by injustice and follow their leadership. They are the ones who carry the melody of the work, and as members of UUSC and from the staff of UUSC, we provide a kind of accompaniment for them as they are building a new world. And it really matters. I've actually asked Troy to help us kind of see what it might be like if we're not aligned in values or in understanding where we're going together, what that might be like.
Amazing grace, how sweet.
I'm not sure Troy can be bad at this.
Oh, no, we can do better.
Okay.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was.
I wasn't that bad when I was a church pianist. Thank you both very much. I appreciate that. When you are hearing the stories of the work of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, and indeed when you are considering the work you do here in this community, in relationship with people who are impacted by injustice, I hope this idea of accompaniment, of partnership, is something that helps guide your way, and I hope that it will also inspire you to join us at UUSC as a part of this very important way of leading toward human rights and justice for all people. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we contribute our gifts to create an offering, together we are able to do more than any of us can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, whatever you share will be most gratefully received. The offering here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by your regular pledges. Thank you. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for September and October is All Kids Win. This is what they share about their work. All Kids Win envisions a community in which hunger never gets in the way of student success. Created in August of 2006, when caring community volunteers recognized a weekend food security gap in local and middle high school students, they currently provide weekend food bags for more than 1,100 students per week during the school year. 1,100 food bags per week. This food provides a basic need to students in Thurston County. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
In the time of my confession, in the hour of my deepest need, when the pool of tears beneath my feet flood every newborn seed, there's a dying voice within me reaching out somewhere, toiling in the danger and in the morals of despair. Don't have the inclination to look back on my mistakes. Like Cain, I now behold this chain of events that I must break. In the fury of the moment, I can see the Master's hand in every leaf that trembles and in every grain of sand. Ooh. Oh, the flowers of indulgence and the weeds of yesteryear, like criminals, they have choked the breath of conscience and good cheer. Oh, the sun beat down upon the steps of my time to light the way, to ease the pain of idleness and the memory of decay. Oh, I gaze into that doorway of temptation's angry flame, and every time I pass that way, I'll always hear my name. Then onward in my journey, I've come to understand that every hair is numbered like every grain of sand. I have gone from rags to riches in the sorrow of the night, in the violence of a summer's dream, in the chill of a wintry light, in the bitter dance of loneliness fading into space, in the broken mirror of innocence on each forgotten face. Oh, I hear the ancient footsteps like the motion of the sea. Sometimes I turn, there's someone there. Other times it's only me. I'm hanging in the balance of a perfect finished plan, like every sparrow falling, and like every grain of sand, every grain of sand. Ooh, ooh, mm, mm.
Thank you, and thank you all for your generous gifts. We came together this morning bringing all that is in our lives. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of community. Right now, I invite you to take a breath as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our communities today. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those in the sanctuary will be able to see your sharing on the screen. And for those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there is something that you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone into the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Please come up through the side aisle and return by the center aisle. Let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. In the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken.
And this time for quiet reflection, for meditation, for a prayerful practice. I invite you to find a position that is comfortable and alert as you breathe in to receive this breath of life, this invitation to waking to this day and to this gathering of colleagues and friends and comrades. We arrive carrying the complexities of our lives and see in the eyes and the countenance and the shoulder, the weight on our shoulders, the same burdens and joys in these companions who have gathered here. We give thanks that community calls us into healing, that community holds us when our hearts are broken, and that community brings us to a place of hope and courage for the days to come, for all the days of our lives. With gratitude for this community that calls us and comforts us, with hope for the days to come, and with commitment to live our values, our faith together here in this intimate circle and beyond, in the world that needs healing and blessing and light. May it be so.
I invite you to remain seated as we sing hymn number 403, Spirit of Truth, of Life, of Power. Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour, in faith, in hope, and charity. Let's turn that around again. You can add some harmony if you want. Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour, in faith.
Today's reading is from Where Do We Go From Here by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. In his last address to the Southern Christian Leadership Council, delivered on August 16, 1967, Dr. King describes the collision of immoral power with powerless morality as the major crisis of our times. In the context of his critique of capitalism, Dr. King shared the importance of massively asserting our dignity and worth. Further, he challenged leaders to embrace not just the love he so frequently preached, but also the use of power. As Reverend King stated with eloquence and conviction, power properly understood is nothing but the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic change. Now, a lot of us have our moral convictions and concerns, and so often have problems with power. There is nothing wrong with power if power is used correctly. You see, what happened is that some of our philosophers got off base. And one of the great problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites, so that love is identified as the resignation of power and power with the denial of love. It is this misinterpretation that caused Nietzsche, who was philosopher of the will of power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was the same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject the Nietzschean philosophy of the will to power in the name of the Christian idea of love. Now we've got to get this thing right. What is needed is the realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love.
Thanks. Truth be told, the pulpit is a little tall for me. Thank you. Good morning again. It really is a pleasure to be with you. I've never been to Olympia. I'm glad to be here with my colleague, Kate Friedman. She will be joining me. She's at the table during coffee hour and at the forum afterwards here. So please come by and say hi to us. We've been welcomed so warmly, and I'm so grateful for the beautiful support from your team, your staff team, lay support teams, Troy, and it's really been a pleasure to work with Sarah. And next time I come, I'll look forward to meeting Reverend Mary as well. And thank you to those of you who know what UUSC is. Can I have a show? Now that is pretty darn good, and I think Anne, I understand, gets some of the credit for so many of you knowing what UUSC is. For years of helping to support our Guest at Your Table program, and many thanks to Sarah, who will be bringing Guest at Your Table to the congregation again this fall. Curtis said it beautifully. Our work is to advance human rights and social justice globally. We have a modest mission. Modest hopes. But how could we strive for less? thank you to those of you who are members. I know there are some among you who have been members in the past and who just forgot, so I hope you will reacquaint yourselves with us. And for those of you who are new to UUSC, welcome. We want you to be part of our family as an independent nonprofit organization. We can't do anything we do without your support. So thank you so much for all of you who support the work that we do. And again, I really do want to thank you for being here. I actually want to thank you for being here not as the preacher, who, it's better, isn't it? It helps when the room is full when we're preaching. But I just actually want to thank you for being here, both in the room but also online. Thank you for joining us online. I'm grateful for this as a person who woke this morning, again found myself needing, those deep breaths that are so important these days when we wake to the latest news about domestic affairs, about violence in the world, about crisis, climate crisis-driven disaster, and about intimate heartbreak that we carry at times in our lives. I thank you for being here as a person who finds comfort and strength in this moment, in this time, when we come together because we know it matters, because we know journeying together makes so many things possible. This is why we're here. Within the container of this faith community, we gather to rest for a moment from the relentless pounding, sometimes real, sometimes manufactured demands of our days. And so we stop just for this hour and 5 minutes. We stop just for this hour. We are saying that we need time for community and inspiration and purpose. In this way, we hold one another in the midst of unthinkable losses. We find strength and courage and hope and faith for all that is possible when together we lead with love. When we reflect the beauty and promise of this day among us and carry it with us when we go. I've come this morning from Boston, Massachusetts. Our offices are in Cambridge, but Kate and I flew from Boston with the hope that the work of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee will be for you another source of inspiration and purpose as we cultivate together the living of our faith, and as you work here in Olympia to make real your mission and vision. I come with the hopes that this is an invitation to purpose that will inspire you and give you hope. And that you will be inspired in turn to join us in this work in the coming months during Guest at Your Table, or at any time. Kate would love to tell you more about how to be involved. Your presence with us is a vital part of our power in the world. One of my favorite things when I joined UUSC 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago, was learning that at UUSC, our mission articulates that we believe in the inherent dignity and power of all people. I actually said it wrong for months. I didn't catch this really important difference. We affirm the inherent dignity and power of all people. I, too, have shied away from the notion of power sometimes in my life. Sometimes not for great reason. I don't know if this resonates for you. The 20th century UU theologian once said that the biggest sin of religious progressives is sophisticated resignation. I don't have any power to affect change. What possible difference could I make? It's naive to think another world is possible. All of which is simply to say, what power do I have anyway? It's a stance we cultivate, I think, and it's reinforced by those who hold traditional kinds of power. This is reinforced by those who hold traditional forms of power. They rely on us to resign ourselves. They depend on it. It is a lie that serves the forces of empire. This is one of the great gifts I have discovered at UUSC, how our partners, our grassroots partners around the world, show us again and again that power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting for everything that stands against love. So this is the reflection question. I've lifted up. When have you seen love and power come together to create systemic change, systemic justice, and compassion? I'll tell you when I've seen it. It's an easy answer today. Juan Lopez. Juan Lopez was a human rights and environmental defender from Honduras. He has for many years spoken out against and even put his body in the way of corrupt corporate and government forces who have been destroying the land and water of the Guapanal Valley in the southeast of Honduras. Juan and his community organization, FSAR, have been UUSC partners since 2018. 1 month ago, as Juan was leaving church on a Saturday evening, people on motorbikes shot and killed him. I wish you could have known him. When we were together with supporters and staff of UUSC in Cuba a year and a half ago, Juan was one of our grassroots partners who joined us there to talk about the important work they were doing. We had partners there from Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Honduras. Juan was the most soft-spoken among them, of those partners who were gathered there. And he spoke he spoke in Spanish and slowly, and so hearing him it took time, and he took time. And what I loved about how he told us about their work is he started with the most intimate stories of family and community to describe where his deep commitment for justice came from. And it was sneaky. He surprised us because he started in this soft-spoken storytelling mode and then wove his stories into one of the most compelling critiques of colonialism and extractive capitalism that I've ever heard. It snuck up on us. I was so moved by how he described the conditions his community lives in and the commitments they carry in their work in the community. One thing I will always remember is he described how the corporations who are doing illegal mining, as they work together with some corrupt forces in the government, they have to actually apply for exploitation permits. That's a faithful translation of the work that happens in exploiting the planet. And as he shared so vividly with us, the impact of that kind of exploitation has the effect of exploiting the entire community, which is left with little means of creating a life or a livelihood for themselves. Juan opened our hearts in our time together. And you know what happens when your heart is open? It can be deeply broken. I give thanks for Juan's gift and his life of service to human rights. Environmental defenders like Juan are in part working to make it possible for communities to remain home, to not have to migrate, to address the root causes of forced displacement. This is true in the Americas and in many places around the world, and is a primary thread of UUSC's work from the very beginning, as many of you know, when our founders were part of the life-saving network, symbolized in our chalice, of people accompanying those who were escaping Hitler's Nazi Germany. As you know, today, people are coming to the United States from many parts of the world, are trying to escape conditions not of their own making, which make living in safety and with basic needs impossible. And as you know, sometimes when people travel to the United States, they are mischaracterized as criminals. And sometimes some political and even religious figures characterize these people as less than human, particularly in the case of Black and brown migrants. And as you know, this narrative, though it can appear to be nonsense and perhaps even funny in a heartbreaking way, this narrative is designed to create fear, to divide us, to distract us, and to destabilize our grounding in the values that arise from love. And even if we aren't jumping on the hate bandwagon, the pull of this disconnecting, dehumanizing strategy is powerful and effective. Which is why I particularly want to tell you about UUSC's work in Haiti and in the United States with people who have migrated here from Haiti. This is a small part of our work, but I wish to lift it up for you this morning, I hope, as one source of hope and power. It is part of the story, what I will be sharing, but it's a really important part in light of the narrative that we're receiving from all around us. And frankly, it's the limited narrative which is a huge part of the problem for the people of Haiti. 2 years ago, I was in Washington, D.C. at a conference of the Haiti Funders Network. And the keynote speaker at that gathering, Honorable Michelle Pierre-Louis, who is a former Prime Minister of Haiti, implored us to tell the full story. She said, don't only tell about the desperation, the poverty, the organized crime, the impacts of colonialism, but also tell about the hard work, the resistance, the solidarity, the world of care, the learning, community, engagement with joy and hope. She said, the narrative that Haiti is hopeless is the greatest challenge we face. UUSC's partnerships in Haiti exemplify our theory of change, our belief that the way change is created is by accompanying people who are impacted by injustice with resources for humanitarian response, advocacy, research, and documentation of abuses of justice, resource mobilization, and justice education. In the United States, UUSC is part of a small coalition of groups supporting Haitians in the diaspora who are working together to create what they call a Haitian solution. They have a vision for an inclusive, independent democracy, which they know will not happen overnight, but they know that if they do not hold a vision, it will never come about. They're working to create alliances for Haiti's future and also internationally to advocate for self-determination for the people of Haiti. And yes, it's complicated. UUSC is also about to release a report that represents years of work documenting the inequalities encountered by Black asylum seekers, particularly people from Africa and the Caribbean. The study aims to increase awareness of the racial disparities in asylum processes and advocate for systemic change by concentrating on legal and humanitarian challenges. We're excited that this work that we've been gathering for a number of years is going to be published in the Migration Policy Institute and Harvard Health and Human Rights Journal this fall. We hope it will make a difference. In addition to work here in the United States, UUSC supports grassroots groups on the ground in Haiti, including media in Haiti that is trying to get the story out, and also, importantly, the peasant rights movements, including an organization, MPP, the Pape Peasant Movement, which is 50 years old and has been working to create livelihood for people all across Haiti and ensure popular education, education in agroecology, environmental management, and addressing issues that women and girls face in Haiti. MPP is also helping to grow the movement for food sovereignty and advocating for the dismantling of harmful trade practices, which are exacerbating the hunger crisis within Haiti. Some of you may be familiar with the work UUSC did in Haiti 10 and a dozen years ago after the earthquake, and some of that work was in partnership with this same organization that is still active now. There's even more to the story, and actually just a few weeks ago, I was surprised in a staff meeting to learn about work that I had no idea about. Our colleagues in South Florida shared during our all-staff meeting that they were busy supporting the mobilization of Haitian Americans to vote in the election. I always love it when more people vote. But the idea of more Haitian Americans voting in this election gives me deep joy. And hope. Remembering the too short life of Juan Lopez gives me deep joy. Remembering his power to open hearts, his conviction that another way is possible, his invitation to purpose, to love. One more thing, this business about love and power, that's not just about Juan Lopez. That's not just about Ketley Alexander, one of the popular educators of MPP. It's not just about the climate activists in Fiji and the Solomon Islands and South Louisiana. It's not just about beloved trans people here in the United States who are forced to seek refuge in safer states because of laws criminalizing their very being. Nope, that business about love and power, it's for all of us. Power without love is reckless and anemic. And love without power, somebody caught it. Power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. But love that knows purpose and power, that is a whole new world. Let's go.
Let's sing together again. Number 325, Love Makes a Bridge. I invite you to rise and let's sing. quench that winds may shake, yet not destroy. Love carries faith through life and death, and endless joy. Thank you for singing.
So much of the world is not just or good or pulling toward the light. May we be deliberate in our part. May we accept our own incompleteness and still go and make light and healing and blessing real in the world as only we can. Go in peace and love.